For someone who's been gaming since blowing into cartridges was a legitimate troubleshooting method, this was like an identity crisis. But it wasn't like a dramatic breakup, more like gaming and I were in a toxic relationship, and I didn't even see the red flags. Here's how it usually played out. After a lot of responsibilities, I think, alright, it's time to unwind. So I boot up the usual suspects. For me, that meant something like Brawlhalla. You know, the games where you tell yourself you'll play just one match, which is the biggest lie gamers have ever told. And, I mean, at first I have a lot of fun, it's fine. But then the spiral starts. Your teammate is more interested in hitting clips than playing. Someone screaming in the voice chat, you lag at the worst possible moment. And suddenly, 2 hours were gone. Your blood pressure is through the roof, and instead of feeling relaxed, you're googling how to uninstall live. If this sounds familiar, well, it took me a while to realize this wasn't just a bad day here or there. It was a pattern. I was chasing fun, but ending up with frustration. And it was making me question if I even liked gaming anymore. But then, I felt like I had a breakthrough. Or maybe I just hit rock bottom, who knows. And I decided to change things up. Instead of going back to the same games, I went looking for something different. That's when I realized the beauty of single-player action RPGs. Games that don't scream at you, games that don't care about your KD ratio, games that, dare I say it, let you pause. One of the first games I dove into was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and to this day this is one of my favorites. And listen, I know everyone has talked about this game to death, but in my opinion it deserves every bit of hype. I wasn't worried about climbing a leaderboard, I was climbing actual mountains, cooking weird recipes and accidentally setting grass on fire. It was perfect almost. Then I went even further back and picked up Journey. Have you ever played it? It's like someone bottled peace and turned it into a game. You have no voice chat, no objectives yelling at you, just this stunning, meditative experience where you slide down sand dunes and connect with strangers in the quietest, most beautiful way. At this time I got into Cult of the Lamb. Now, in the beginning this one did kick my butt a little, but in the best way. Exploring its gorgeous eerie world felt so rewarding. Every time I discovered something new, it was like a little victory for my soul. And guess what? No teammates yelling at me for missing my shots. Although these are some fantastic games, it wasn't about the games themselves. I think it was the shift in mindset. For the longest time, I'd been stuck in this idea that gaming had to be about achievement. Like, if I wasn't ranking up or hitting some milestone, I was wasting my time. But that's nonsense. Gaming isn't a chore, it's supposed to be fun. So I started experimenting. I tried games I'd never even glanced at before. Like Getting Over It. Yes, it's a game about a guy in a pot climbing a mountain. And yes, it's one of the most relaxing things I've ever done. Then you have Firewatch. Oh, if you haven't played this, do yourself a favor. It's a story-driven game where you're just walking through a forest, unraveling a mystery, and having some of the most human conversations I've ever seen in a game. It's proof that gaming doesn't have to be about adrenaline, it can just be about connection. What really stood out to me during this process was how much I had tied my sense of worth to performance. Not just in gaming, but in life too. I realized that so much of my frustration came from this subconscious pressure to make my free time productive. Even in gaming, I was trying to accomplish something, whether it was climbing a ranked ladder or finishing a challenge. It was like I couldn't give myself permission to simply play. That realization hit me hard because hobbies, at their core, aren't supposed to feel like work. I also see how gaming environments themselves had shifted. Many modern games are designed around progression systems, battle passes, limited time events, dailies, and while these systems are exciting in small doses, they quickly turn into obligations. The fun becomes tied to ticking boxes, and when you don't, there's this weird guilt, like you're falling behind. It wasn't just about playing the game anymore, it was about keeping up with the game. I had to step back and ask myself, why do I come back to do these quests every day? What surprised me the most was how much I had forgotten about the joy of discovery. There's something uniquely magical about stumbling upon a secret in a game or uncovering a story that wasn't handed to you on a checklist. Games that encourage curiosity over competition remind me why I started gaming in the first place. I found myself gravitating towards experiences that didn't just entertain, but made me think, reflect, or simply relax. It was less about what the game was asking of me and more about what it gave me back. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love multiplayer games. They'll always hold a special place in my heart. But these days I treat them more like dessert. Something sweet and enjoyable, but not something to base my entire diet on. They're great in moderation, but if I'm feeling stressed, burnt out, or just plainly exhausted, I've learned to take a step back and recess. Loading into a sweaty rank match when my mental battery is already drained, that's a recipe for disaster. Instead, I'll reach for something soothing. I'm using Stardew Valley as an example again, where the biggest pressure is deciding whether to grow pumpkins or potatoes. Or I'll dive into something nostalgic, like Spyro the Dragon, a game that instantly takes me back to simpler times when gaming was just pure joy without expectations. These moments of escapism are invaluable because they remind me that not every gaming session has to be about adrenaline or competition. Sometimes it's about slowing down and enjoying the little things, like decorating my farmhouse or gliding over vibrant landscapes to collect some gems. I found out that these slower, more deliberate games can offer a sense of accomplishment and peace that multiplayer games rarely provide. They don't demand perfection or punish failure, they're just there to be enjoyed. It's not about winning or losing, it's about letting yourself play in the truest sense of the word. And the best part, when I finally return to multiplayer games from time to time, it feels refreshing. Taking that mental break and stepping away from the grind lets me approach them with a clearer head and a renewed sense of fun. It's no longer about climbing the ranks or proving myself, it's just about enjoying the chaos with friends or embracing the occasional solo victory. By rebalancing how I game, I found a rhythm that actually makes me look forward to playing again, rather than dreading another night of frustration. So, if I look back, I realize now that falling out of love with gaming wasn't the problem. It was falling into a routine that wasn't serving me. Gaming is so much more than just grinding ranks or chasing achievements. So, if you're feeling burned out, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's just time to switch things up. Try a game that doesn't ask you to win, but instead invites you to play. You might just find the magic all over again. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, maybe you like my next one. And as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, donate,